Well, hello to your motherfuckers, and welcome to the Smackdown review. Very boring show tonight. What a waste of time. Why even bother watching this show? Most of the time, SmackDown's completely worthless. It's not even really related to anything. It seems like almost non existent, like it didn't happen at all by the time Raw comes. Once in a while, you get a replay, but other than that, you barely even get a mention of anything that happened on SmackDown. Now, I know I've done this rant a couple of times, but back in the day, SmackDown and Raw were equals. If you miss SmackDown, you'd be fucking kicking yourself. Nowadays, you miss SmackDown, you're just like, well, I'm not really missing much. Once in a while, maybe a decent match, maybe something a little bit decent, but overall, pretty pointless. You're never going to get anything substantial. Nothing big ever happens on SmackDown. Once in a while, they'll treat the fans to something like Hulk Hogan, a special appearance or something. But really, at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter in the main storylines. And if it really doesn't matter, if it's inconsequential, why the hell watch it? That's what I want to know. And that's why you haven't seen a lot of SmackDown reviews as of late. I haven't really watched the show consistently. Once in a while, I'll do SmackDown reviews like this one, but, there really isn't a point to it because it gets a bit boring doing these reviews when you know every single show is going to suck. Now, I know a lot of my subscribers would enjoy that because they love it. It's a little bit sick, but they enjoy when Raw is bad. I think this is mostly the people that don't watch wrestling anymore, the people that tell me that they watch my reviews solely based on my entertainment of me talking about the shows, me expressing my hate for them a lot of times. But legitimately during these reviews, I really do. I swear to God, I try to find the positives in all shows. And I think most people, even the haters deep down, realize that. But, there's no point because at least with Raw, this week's Raw was pretty good. At least sometimes, it's fun to review it because we could go through the ups and the downs. And mostly with SmackDown, it's the downs. So we started off with Orton cutting a promo, and this was just babble. It was ridiculous. If he's got nothing to say, don't say anything at all. Why even have him come out there? He's reminding us he has a match with RVD there tonight. Um, but really, he comes out there just to say he's basically going to get his hands on Reigns tonight. He's going to fondle Reigns. He loves Reigns, something like that. Really, I spaced out during this promo. The first couple of sentences, and I just couldn't maintain my interest. I really couldn't care less what Orton has to say. Yeah, it was a good match at the pay-per-view, but Orton speaking just puts me to sleep. That right there is a sleeping pill you don't need a prescription for, folks. Just listen to Randy Orton cut a promo. Listen to him talk for a couple of seconds, and that will knock you the fuck out right there. No need for sleeping pills. No need for, unsafe drugs. You can, well, speaking of drugs, Orton, steroids, so right there, take it from the king of insomnia, basically. They're the cure for insomnia. Orton right there, that's Fripp Van Winkle. That man will give you 40 winks right there. Meanwhile, he's giving 40 winks to Roman Reigns because he thinks he's sexy. He won't leave Reigns alone. He's always talking about getting his hands on him, if you notice that. Then Rollins comes out like abruptly right after the promo. I thought for a minute there, Rollins had a problem with Orton or something, but it's like right after. This is very awkward. Everything on these shows nowadays, not just SmackDown, Raw, just seems, disconjointed. Nothing flows well. The show always feels very pieced together, almost like a collage. It shouldn't feel like a collage. So the collage you come together, but it's also sometimes just a bunch of shit thrown together. Raw kind of looks a little, and SmackDown kind of looks like one of them paintings I never liked. Those really abstract. I was just looking at this just yesterday. I went to go eat at a restaurant. And you have like stained mirrors, and they're supposed to be like paintings, works of art, but really at the end of the day, it's really not a work of art. It's just basically looks like shit thrown together. They just basically stained the mirror and called it art. That right there is what Raw is. If they're like, oh, good enough, that's not good enough for me. Some people will stand there for hours looking at a piece of art that looks like it could have been done by a 6-year-old, even younger. But you see, me, I demand quality, because I've seen the Mona Lisas of the past. I have seen, the big works of art by Leonardo da Vinci. I've seen the Attitude Era, and that is the Leonardo da Vinci, the Pablo Picasso of wrestling right there. The Attitude Era. So, that's what people have to realize. This thrown together shit, even just take, 2008, 2009, the shows looked more presentable. Let's not even go into Attitude Era, because people complain when I talk too much Attitude Era. So I will cater to those people who didn't see the Attitude Era. So I'll even say that a couple of years ago, the shows were far better put together. They're not like today, where they're just all spruced out. It's just looking like a big fucking mess. So you got Rollins defeating Swagger by count out in the first match, and it's like not bad action, but then again, it just completely takes me out of it. A count out victory. It couldn't end in a pinfall. At least, give us something solid. Kicking it off like this is just, it's taking me out of it. Right away, some ridiculous finish. It doesn't even make sense. A count out. Rollins is supposed to be on a roll. You can't even pin a mid-carder. This makes no sense. People are making rumors that Rollins might be Lesnar. If he can't even pin Swagger, how do you expect them to beat a big monster like Lesnar, who just ran through the face of the company at SummerSlam? That makes no sense, and anybody saying that just has no idea what they're talking about. No knowledge of wrestling if they think that Rollins is at any position right now to take the title. And if he can't even beat Swagger on a SmackDown, which no one's even going to watch, then, safe to say that they're not going to have him win any titles, especially from Lesnar, as of right now. Definitely a very fucking disappointing way to start off a show that I'm already assuming is going to suck. So that right there tells you it's probably not worth watching, but I persevere for the review. Then you have Rusev defeating Sin Cara in like a minute. There's no point to having a squash match with Rusev. He's already beaten Sin Cara like 30 times. In fact, one match wasn't even televised a couple of weeks ago. It happened on the app. They've had matches on the app. They've had matches on Main Event, Superstars, you name it. They've had matches all over the place. Next time they're going to have a fucking match on the moon. How many times is Rusev going to beat the shit out of Sin Cara? Been there, seen that, done that. It's time to end it. Give Rusev a real match. It might be a SmackDown, but don't just do repeats and fillers. Give people something to watch. Why is the Main Event on the network better than what's actually being televised on TV? If anything, I know it's important to push the network. They're not doing so well with it, but completely abandoning SmackDown. This is a very poor idea right here. And Mark Henry comes out after the match. He chases Rusev away. And, we all know this match is going to suck really bad. Probably going to be a Night of Champions. There's no way that a guy like Henry, his age, is going to be able to have a good match with someone like Rusev. Rusev needs somebody who's going to be faster than him, who could kind of, break him out of his shell. Rusev is, like, still very stiff. I don't mean stiff like a hard hitter. I mean, like, he's still kind of herky-jerky in a way. Can't really move around too well. He might be more of an agile big man than, say, Henry, but you can't have a guy like Henry and Rusev. Very few times is big man versus big man a good idea. Now, you got someone like Swagger that's tall, but he ain't too heavy, so that's why he's a good wrestler. So it made sense to have a match like this. This is, just asking for disaster, pretty much. We all know a match like this won't go well based on the past. We all know that Big Show, Mark Henry matches don't work, so, why would this work? Basically knowing that it's going to suck, but still booking it anyway. As I've said in the past, I want to know who's booking this. I don't even know anymore. They've been through 70 head writers in the past fucking year, so who even knows who's putting pen to paper anymore? Then you had Orton and RVD. This match ended in a no contest, a no count out. I don't give a shit. I don't know what it ended in. But actually, the beatdown after the match was pretty fucking good, I have to say. RKO right on the fucking chair. RVD's face hits right on the chair perfectly. And, I'm starting to get some hope here for hardcore wrestling. After Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins had that great hardcore match, we had headshots and shit like that, and now another headshot right there, the face right on the chair. That right there was pretty good. For a boring show, this was one redeemable factor, but here's the thing, it's not even like it was a good match, it was just the beatdown. Why couldn't they work the beatdown into the match so we could say it's a good match instead? What happens after it makes no sense. It really doesn't, A match like this would have been good. Orton could have beaten RVD like this. They could have booked like a nice little hardcore match to attract viewers, but they don't want to do that. So there you go. For once again, me making another awesome suggestion here that could have gotten them viewers, made the fans happier. All they had to do was just book this into a match, It would have been great. Orton beating RVD, it would have made, Orton look strong, beating them hardcore style, but, they don't want to do that, I guess they feel they gave us one good match on Raw, and now they don't have to give us any others for a long time now. Then you had Natalya defeating Paige. Again, it happened on Raw. Might as well do it again on SmackDown. This is retarded beyond belief. Why have the champion lose twice in the same distraction, finish with AJ coming out there? This makes no sense. You're having Paige lose this many fucking times. It makes no goddamn sense at all. Why have her lose? It doesn't make any sense. They're just fucking throwing these random upset victories all over the place. Like I said, Heath Slater, Kofi Kingston, anybody could win a match nowadays. It makes no goddamn sense at all. You're just, this is like, what's next? Putting the belt on everybody. Everybody gets a win. It made no sense. And this is why I kind of got a little bit pissed off when they had guys like Kofi beating Orton and stuff like that. That made no sense. And then they're not even going to follow up on it. You're not going to make Natalya a champion anytime soon. So why have her beat the champion? She's not even involved in the feud. Don't even bother. It's just a bad idea. It makes other wrestlers look weak. That's what you gotta understand. Wrestling's all about momentum. It's all about star power, making guys look good. It's like an actor. They have a string of good movies. Got to make sure they stay in good movies. They have a bad movie and it's going to hurt their career. People are going to talk shit about their career. It's going to hurt it's going to hurt their worth in Hollywood. It's going to be the same thing in wrestling. It's always that way. Sports stars, they have a bad season. It's going to look bad on their record. So, same thing goes for wrestling. Don't have wrestlers lose constantly and affect their credibility. These wrestlers have fans. They have people that follow them, that pay money to go to the shows to see them win. So, it's probably a smart idea to have the guys win that people want to win most of the time. Not saying they gotta win every match. That would be ridiculous too, but having the popular ones lose constantly, doing constant losing streaks, like great example, Cesaro. Everybody's behind him, cheering for him. So what do? They break his push, take Heyman away from him, take away his, he never really had a big winning streak, but, taking away all his wins pretty much. And it's only won like 2 matches in the span of like the 4 last months, pretty much. Makes no sense to do that. Take a popular star and just pretty much destroy every bit of credibility he has. Doesn't make any sense, and doesn't make sense here either. And then it was Goldust and Stardust defeating the Wyatts. This match was okay. Nothing special. Once again, a little bit better than their Raw match. A little bit longer than their Raw match. But I don't really see a lot of chemistry here for pay-per-view. It's okay, little action, but nothing that's like, wow, I want to see it go longer on a pay-per-view. No, actually, after the match, once again, just like with Orton and RVD, it got better. Once again, I have to ask, why can't it be like that during the match? Why is the post-match better? You have Luke Harper throwing the Michael Cole's chair at Goldust. That was pretty fucking good, I think. And, big clothesline after the match. And I don't get why, instead this match just ends with a lousy schoolboy roll-up. And post-match beatdown is so much more exciting. Intertwine this, cut down the boring parts in the match and add the more exciting parts. This isn't rocket science. We're talking about pretty simple stuff here. Take out the boring parts, put in the awesome parts. Doesn't really, take a lot of heavy calculus, mathematics to figure this out. You don't have to make big pie charts, line graphs, and, all these different things to try to figure it out. There's not big equations involved. It's professional wrestling. Mostly retards watch it anyway, so you don't really have to think too hard to know how to make a good wrestling show. I've said this on a number of occasions. You just basically have to ignore everything that the idiots here in the YWC say. Once you do that, you're probably going to have a great show. Like I said, it's not that hard. Don't really have to try too hard to have a good wrestling show. All they need is just to have some good matches and try to make the show make a little bit of sense. Just because it's wrestling doesn't mean it has to be retarded with fucking people dancing all over the place, and doesn't mean it has to be slow with just rest holds and guys just grabbing each other's crotches. It could be way better than that. We've seen the past, so we know it could be, despite what a lot of people in the YWC making excuses. And then in the main event, completely pointless, Roman Reigns beats The Miz in like a fucking minute, and he beats him with his big move, the spear, and that is it. Orton comes out for a distraction. He can't even distract Reigns properly. The match then just, ends with a big brawl. The brawl was okay at the end. Orton is actually better. I will say this, if I have to say some positives, Orton is better this way. He's been a little bit better as of late. He had a good match at SummerSlam with Reigns. Those, I hate both of these guys, but you know, it's not that bad. Good match. Orton seems more sadistic, as they've been saying. The Viper is back, and I've never been a big fan of the Viper character, but you know, he's a little bit cooler, a little bit more hardcore. You know, showing no remorse for his actions. So Orton, a little bit better. I haven't really minded him as of late. Still kind of boring ass promos, but physically, the guy's been doing some decent work, I have to say, as far as, you know, match wise and shit like that. Okay, so anyway, the other complaint I have here is what the Miz was wearing during this match. And he's been wearing this. He wore it at the pay-per-view even. This white cloak. You know, Michael Cole says he looks like Luke Skywalker. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Change his ring jacket, for God fucking sakes. This is, you know, how is this like a Hollywood celebrity look for him? You know, the ring jacket he had before, that leather studded one, was way fucking better than this shit he's wearing now. This just looks like he's the fucking Pope or something. I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to be. Change his goddamn entrance attire. That shit is atrocious. I'm looking at it. I can't even stand to look at him. It doesn't even look like it's for wrestling. I don't, you know, like, who's dressing this guy? You know, before they come out, you know, back in the day, you know, to come out like that, you would be a laughing stock. I don't even know why this even gets a pass on the TV. So the Miz, you know, losing in under a minute. So I guess there goes his push. You know, he loses the title. He loses to Reigns in a minute. You know, it's SmackDown, so I guess it doesn't count. But even still, the Miz looked pretty fucking pathetic in this match. And Roman Reigns once again showed that his moveset is pretty damn tiny. Probably like something else on him. But anyway, motherfuckers. Boring show. Couple little decent beatdowns. No good matches. The best thing on the show was the RKO onto the chair. But other than that, it was like an hour and 49 minutes of boredom. You know, you had one decent like 30-second little beatdown that I enjoyed, but other than that, it's pretty boring. I had a lot of problems with this show. This show was like a perfect example of what is wrong with WWE. On Raw, we saw a perfect example of what's right with WWE and what they should continue to be doing. Promote Brock Lesnar. Have those good promo segments. Have some quality matches like the main event. And, okay, we saw with SmackDown, you know, RKO onto the chair. We should see more of that. There's no reason why we can't get something, at least like one really cool thing a week and one good main event and one good promo. How's that for, you know, is that too demanding? Every single Raw, I want to see one good promo, one, you know, promo that I'm going to remember for at least 2 weeks, let's say. And one good match, at least 3-star quality, let's say that. And I want to see one good, like, memorable move or spot, like a chair shot or an RKO. Give us something, you know, at least give us something for the week to be happy so we could at least say the show was decent. How about if I say that? I'm not asking for good shows. I'm asking for consistent, decent shows. I think that I'm a very demanding guy, I guess you could say. You know, I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting quality on these shows. I'm expecting them to be good. I'm asking way too much. I'm asking the world. All right, motherfuckers. This wasn't a good SmackDown. Not at all.